Good morning, world, and welcome to my first video of the Journal Shop series. I'm Stephanie, and I am the Chief Brat and Director of SAS here at the Bratty Bookbinder Binding and Art Studio. So let me give you a little background on myself. I am a self-taught bookbinder and mixed media artist and crazy journaler with a need to word vomit on every piece of paper I see. Before we get started, I'm going to let you know that mornings are not my favorite thing, and Monday mornings are definitely not my favorite. So if I drop a little tiny swear bomb today, I am so very sorry. But if it does happen, I will give the first person to call me out on it one of my custom journaling kits for free. This kit is so full of goodies to accessorize your journal pages with and to create some really fabulous designs. There is really no limit to what you can create. I will also give that person a shout out on next week's video, so I hope you are listening carefully and not hanging on every word today. If you don't really feel like waiting for one of these beauties, you can find these bad girls in my Etsy shop, which is linked in the description area below. I would really appreciate it if you could check it out. And just to give you kind of an idea, these are the different kits that I have in there right now. There's quite a variety. And I'm always adding more in there, and they're a lot of fun to use. So, like I said, take a minute and just check it out. I'm going to jump right in with y'all right now and start working on a page in my personal journal. I started this one fresh at the beginning of 2019, so it's not super full yet, but I've set it up so that each month will have a different theme or color code to represent what is happening in my life. Right now, it's pretty damn cold out there, and we are waist deep in snow. Ergo, I have set up this month full of these yummy blue, gray, white, and gold pages that will have all sorts of snowflakes drifting around. I have a cover page set up, waiting for a photo that's going to go right in here. I just have to kind of pick which one it is that I want to use at the end of this month. And so I started the year out in my journal with a few goals for the year, as so many of us do, and I'm hoping to accomplish them. You can see here I used some pretty blue snowflakey paper here to create some letters using my We Are Memory Keachers mini alphabet punch board, which is a really great tool. I'll probably use it in a future video just to show you guys how it works. And I added some pretty stickles in here, and I had some really nice thickers to add in the 2019 and some snowflakes as well. So it turned out really nice. I really liked it. To help me with my goal of drinking more water, I set up a water tracker here on this page using a lot of the same materials as on the previous page. And as you can see, I have not been doing so well for the last few days. So I need to be a little bit more conscientious about drinking my water for sure. And I set this page up so that for this month, I'm going to see how I do, where my habits are, so that I can evaluate where I need to improve and what I can do to improve on. So we'll see how that goes. This next page is just a single journal entry, and I used one of my journaling kits to set it up. Here I have set up this page with a coordinating set of washi tapes, as I wanted to focus more on my writing here. And this entry right here was really difficult for me. I was having a bit of a difficult day last week, and in my need to feel better about myself, I turned to food, and it prompted some really hard thinking about overeating and what that means for me. It was thought-provoking, and writing about it really helped to uncover some truths for me, as a lot of my writing does. And now, as I had quite the busy weekend full of birthday celebrations, I haven't had the chance to get in my journal much for a few days. So today I'm going to again use one of my journaling kits to set up a page for you guys and show you how I like to move through my journal. So I do have some papers that have been pre-cut as part of my journaling kit here, and these are the ones I've chosen to use. Now, these two pieces you won't see in my journaling kits. What I did was I took them and I cut them from a piece of 5x8, which is included in one of my journaling kits. I just trimmed a couple of strips off of it for today's journal. So, my journal kits typically include a single sheet of 5x8 paper. You get a few pieces of 4x6, some 3x4s, some 2x2s. Occasionally I'll throw in some little 1x1 pieces like this here. And I always throw in some extra goodies like die cuts or journaling cards for you, because those are what makes it really fun. So, let's get started. I'm just going to grab my tool here. This is a tool by Scotch. It's called the Advanced Tape Glider, or ATG for short, and I'm really sorry. I'm just going to get a little bit of the dog fluff out of there. My dogs, who are always in my craft room with me, tend to get their fur everywhere. But this is one of my favorite tools. I know it looks a little scary. It looks more like a weapon that you would hit somebody with than anything. But it's a really great tool for holding some double-sided adhesive. It's a permanent adhesive, so it won't lift without ripping paper apart. So you want to be careful with that. But it lasts forever, which is really important to me. So, before I start gluing pieces down, I'm just going to start playing with how I want to lay them out. And I've thought about it a bit already, so I'm just going to play around and see how I like this. I have been playing around with these kits for quite a while, since I've created them, about 8 months ago. I have been selling them to people online and in person now for a while, and some people really enjoy them, and they've produced some really, really great things with them. And I love seeing what everybody does with them. And one of my things that I just love to do is layering the different pieces that come in the kits. It really creates some dimension. And I have developed a few favorite layouts myself that I love to work with. So you'll probably see a lot of styles and patterns repeated in my journal. So I'm just gonna keep playing around, and while I do that, I'm gonna talk about my journal itself. So this journal has been handcrafted by moi in my studio. That's what I do here. I am a bookbinder, a self-taught one, but still bookbinder nonetheless. It is a hardcover journal, one of a kind, that has been stitched together using a Coptic stitch method. And when I'm done here, I'll show you how that looks on the spine. It has 80 pages of glorious blank writing space, and it measures 8.5 inches tall by 5.5 inches wide when it's closed. And this gives me plenty of room to journal, doodle, and add plenty of embellishments, as you can see what I'm doing right now. As I prefer to use a lot of mediums in my journal, I do use a heavier weight paper, as you can see here, and that allows me to indulge in all sorts of happy mixed media work without worrying about my pages warping. I do also make a range of journals and sketchbooks with both heavier or lighter weight papers, so you can definitely be sure to check those out as well if you get the chance. So this is how I'm working in my journal. Like I said, I do like the layering with the different bits and sizes and whatnot, and I think it's looking really great so far, to be honest. I think I'm going to use this page here to add in some photos of my adventures over the weekend. My husband had so much fun planning my birthday party this weekend. He took me and a group of friends out axe throwing, which was really great. So we have some really great photos from that event over the weekend. And I'm going to use this space here to write about it. And I think that will look really great. So I just want to give you the heads up on some of the tools that I use in my journal for writing. So this one here, of course, is just a standard Bic ballpoint pen. It's got blue ink. You can get them in pretty much any color. But what I like about it is that it has the grip and it's very lightweight. So I don't really have to worry about something heavy screwing up my writing. This one I don't use too often. It's a friction pen, and it is erasable. It comes with a little eraser up here, and it actually works. I'll show you right here how well it does work, and so you can just see how it comes out, and that's quite amazing to me that they've come out with that kind of a set. And I have a few different colors in this, and I do like to use them just to add in little doodles here and there. I'm actually using it to color in my water tracker right now, but that's one of my favorites to use. And my absolute #1 favorite is this Tombow pen. It's a double-sided pen with a brush tip on one side and a fine liner tip on the other side. So I do like to use this one to do some standard journaling in. As I mentioned before, the pages in this journal are a heavier weight paper, so it doesn't bleed through, which is lovely. I do use the brush tips on this end a little bit for practicing my calligraphy. I'm not really good at it, so you probably won't see me doing that much in this journal unless I somehow get better at it, but it does also make for some fun doodling. And I also liked the brush tip because it's really fun to use this side to color in a lot of different stamped images, which help blend the different shading together, which is really good, similar to a Copic style marker. But those are the pens that I like. And so I'm just going to go ahead and start putting my pages together now. So let's do that. And if you guys have any questions about any of the tools or pens that I'm using here today, please don't hesitate to fire off those questions in the comments below, because I'm going to be monitoring to check for everything and to see if I can help you out with your own journaling needs. And that's why I'm here. I mean, I just want to make the journaling community a little bit more open and accessible for everybody. So just to give you a bit of background about why I journal, a few years ago, I was diagnosed with anxiety, which was not a lot of fun for me. And instead of going the medication route, I decided to try some therapy. And my doctor recommended that I try journaling to help me out with things, and I really enjoyed it. And while working with a counselor really helped me work through a lot of things. I no longer need to see him, and I have worked out my own little personal regimen of meditation and journaling and yoga and things like that to help me deal with a lot of my issues. But mostly journaling really does help. It's something that allows me to write unhindered, I guess. I don't need to filter my thoughts or emotions in my journal, as so many of us do in society. And it's something that's just, like I said, really helped me grow as a person. And I don't know, it's a habit that I've continued. And a couple years ago, I got it into my head that the journals I was buying at the stores and using just weren't cutting it for me. They weren't fitting what I wanted for a journal and what I had in my head for a journal. So I started using sorry about that. I started making my own journals, and I learned how to do a simple bookbinding knot, and that was absolutely fantastic when I could start doing that. And before I knew it, I had so many journals I couldn't possibly use them all. So I opened up my Etsy shop, and that was that. So I've just ran out of adhesive here, so I'm going to pause the video for a moment and I'll be right back with y'all. Alright guys, so I'm back. I'm sorry about that little pause. I did in fact run out of some of my double-sided adhesive, unfortunately, but never fear. If that ever happens to you, tacky glue is the good way to go. This is an Aleene's tacky glue that I picked up at Michael's, and it's honestly never a bad thing. Even a glue stick is good, or Mod Podge, or any kind of adhesive that you have on hand will work. Don't think that because you're doing a beautiful craft you need expensive supplies for it, especially if you're just doing this for yourself. A lot of different things will work, and like I said, it doesn't need to be fancy. So so where were we before I had to run off on you guys? I'm so sorry for forgetting my place, but I'll just jump right on back into my own lovely musings in my head. So I do love journaling a lot. It's helped me really come to terms with a lot of things going on in my life, and it's helped me figure out a lot of answers about myself as a person, and that's really all you can hope for at the end of the day, I think, to be honest. So if you do have any questions about my personal journaling experiences and my experiences with counseling, please don't be afraid to get in touch with me. I'm a pretty open person, and I have no problem sharing those experiences, especially if they're going to help somebody else down the road. And I mean, really, lifting each other up is what it's all about and what we're all here to do. So, like I said, don't be afraid to contact me. Either through the comment section below, or you can contact me by personal messaging on my Instagram or Facebook channels. It's all good. I'd love to hear from you guys. So anyhow, we're getting to the nitty-gritty end here. I'm not actually going to do a journal entry today because that would be crazy long. I do take a lot of time to idle and mull over my thoughts a lot of times. So I'm not going to subject you guys to that insanity. No worries. But if you are wanting to follow along with me on this journal journey, or even if this is just a one-time stop for you and you would just like a journal for your own lovely musings, check out my Etsy shop, which I've linked below in the description area. I have a shop on Etsy called The Bratty Bookbinder, which is a lot of fun. I have a lot of different unique journals listed there, some of which I have to show you here today. So this is another one of my hardcover books, same as the one I'm using. It's got some beautiful steel corner accents and lots of lovely space for writing. So, and as I promised, this is what a Coptic stitch binding looks like. So that's kind of nice, I think, and it's really sturdy. It's not going to fall apart, and you're definitely not going to lose your pages out of there. So, pardon me. This is one of my upcycled file folder journals. It's really nice. It's, like I said, made from an old file folder, and it is a pamphlet stitch style, which you can see down here. It's a bit of a different style. And I use a couple different patterns on here, as you can see. And there's a nice little tuck pocket in the front. And this is one of those lighter weight papers that I was telling you about earlier. And this journal has 120 pages of journaling goodness just for you. So I have a few different styles of both of these journals that you can check out in my Etsy shop. I also have one of my absolute favorites. This is just the cutest little thing. It's a little sushi book that is made out of envelopes and washi tape. And it's not just for keeping sushi or anything in it, obviously, but it's a little book to tuck away all sorts of secrets and information. And just especially if you're a junk journaler, this is a really great way to keep a lot of your paraphernalia tucked away in. So, or if you're a note writer, or if you like to just keep track of things with lists, this is a really good way to track all of that. And finally, this is one of my sketchbooks. This is done using 140 pound watercolor paper. So these pages are much heavier than even these ones here. And they are 80 pages of goodness in here. These are great for watercolor, oil, just even charcoal and drawing if that's what you like. So these pages will pretty much take anything that you like. And again, it's done with a Coptic stitch binding. So check it out. I'm always adding new things into my shop, so there will always be something new for you guys to see there. And like I said before, or maybe I didn't say this before, damn. You can always contact me directly about making you a customized journal that's just for you. You and I will have a bit of a chat. We'll figure out what you like, what your interests are, and what kind of journal would suit your needs the best. You can also send me an email to chat and talk about your own journal practice. I love hearing from my peeps about their journals, and I am always eager to hear about what you want to see from me. And that's it. This has been the first episode of my Journal Shop series. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Sorry, I'm just having a little trouble with my glue right now, but it's going to come out. Don't worry. Oh, there it is. So I'm just going to finish up the last of this page, and you guys can sit back and chill out and think about what you want to hear from me in the future, or what you want to know from me in the future, which would be great. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and that you come back next week to check on what's in store for you in the coming months with my journal series. If you want to be notified of when my next video is up, like this video, please. That would be great. And hit the subscribe button below, or else you're going to miss out on a lot of really fun few months here at the Bratty Bookbinder. So ciao, Bellas, and I hope you enjoy the coming months.